Theodore. He's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. A friendly tugboat too. Oh, Theodore likes to do the things that friendly tugboats do.
Hello. What a mess. Oh, what a beautiful day in the big harbor, huh? Ah, yes. Beautiful. Be a great day to go and visit all the tugboats. No, I can't put it off any longer. Today, well, today I promised myself that I would clean up my desk. Once a year, whether it needs it or not, I clean up my desk. It's just that I don't think it's going to be very much fun. Oh, and there's Theodore. And everyone else having a wonderful time enjoying the day. I'm stuck here with that desk. Hi, Theodore. You know, just the other morning, Theodore had to do something that he really didn't want to. Just like me. Oh, the desk can wait a little longer. Let me tell you what happened. The tugs were all gathered round the dispatcher for the morning work meeting. "Tugboats," announced the dispatcher. "Today we have a big container ship arriving in the harbor." Theodore smiled. He just loved moving big ships. He couldn't wait to roar his powerful engine and feel his tow rope straining to pull the ship. "George, Emily, and Hank, please proceed immediately," said the dispatcher. "Theodore?" "Yes, sir," tooted Theodore, already turning to join the others. "I'm on my way." "Theodore," called the dispatcher. "Yes, sir." "Today I would like you to work with Rebecca, the research vessel." "Rebecca?" repeated Theodore, sounding a little disappointed. Yes, sir." Theodore really wanted to help bring in that big ship with the other tugboats. Now, he was supposed to help Rebecca. "This won't be any fun at all," he thought as he puffed off. Rebecca, the research vessel, lived at the Oceanic Institute. Theodore had never worked with Rebecca before. All he knew was that she did research. And that sounded, well, boring. "Oh, hello, Theodore," called Rebecca in a warm voice. "It's nice to see you." "Hello," answered Theodore. Rebecca sounded friendly. "All ready for our special day?" asked Rebecca. "Special?" said Theodore. "Well, what are we going to do?" "Research," replied Rebecca. Research? That's just what Theodore was afraid of. Now, Rebecca could see that Theodore looked kind of unhappy. "Oh, research is just a big word for discovering new things," she called as she set off. "This is going to be fun." Well, maybe it won't be too bad, thought Theodore as he set off with Rebecca. "This looks like Bobby's dock," Theodore called to Rebecca. "It is," replied Rebecca. "Today I'd like you to pull Bobby barge." "Oh," said Theodore quietly. Pulling Bobby wasn't special. "I've pulled Bobby lots of times," he added quietly. Theodore tied his tow rope onto Bobby and began pulling him along after Rebecca. Just then, he heard a deep, powerful horn. It was the big container ship arriving in the harbor. Then came the answering whistle of the other tugboats. Theodore knew they were all getting ready for some tough tugging. "You seem very quiet, Theodore." "Oh," replied Theodore, "I guess I'm just a quiet tugboat." "Well, that's not what the dispatcher said," Rebecca went on. "He said you're always a very cheerful tugboat." "Well," said Theodore slowly, "not today, I guess." "I see," said Rebecca thoughtfully. "It's fine if you don't feel cheerful right now. I don't always feel cheerful." Like when you wanted to do something and you couldn't? Theodore asked after a moment. Sometimes, said Rebecca. Theodore gazed out again at the other tugboats bringing in the big ship. I bet bringing in big ships makes you cheerful, said Rebecca. Being a tugboat must be lots of fun. Being a tugboat is lots of fun, replied Theodore. Rebecca seemed so interested in him that right away he felt a little bit better. I think you might really enjoy our adventure today, too, Rebecca went on. An adventure? Said Theodore. Sure, replied Rebecca with a smile in her voice. We're going on a treasure hunt. Where's the treasure? Asked Theodore. Oh, said Rebecca, you never know what you might find. Just around the next bend. Well, Theodore roared his engine and strained his tow rope to pull Bobby a little faster. He really wanted to see what was just around the next bend. Well, this is just Sandy Cove, said Theodore. Oh, I've been here lots of times. It didn't look like there was going to be any adventure after all. Just then, the water began to swirl around Theodore. Northumberland submarine, reporting for duty. Northumberland, said Theodore, turning around. What are you doing here? Theodore hardly ever saw the sleepy submarine in the morning. He was usually out working under the ocean at night and fast asleep all day. Northumberland is going to help us treasure hunting, explained Rebecca. I'm ready to go, Rebecca, called Northumberland. Well, now, Theodore was very surprised. He had never heard Northumberland sound so excited. But, he said, looking around, there's no treasure here. I go by here all the time. But there is, Theodore, said Rebecca. You just have to look a little deeper. Well, Theodore wasn't sure what Rebecca meant. All he saw was sand and water. Lots of sand and lots of water. Diving, announced Northumberland suddenly. A moment later, Rebecca's radio crackled. It was Northumberland calling up to her on her radio. Hello, Northumberland, Rebecca called on her radio. Now be sure to tell me everything you see at the bottom of the harbor. Roger, Northumberland radioed back. Northumberland dove deeper and deeper towards the bottom of the big harbor. Bobby is going to pick up things that Northumberland finds on the bottom with his special hook, Rebecca explained. Ready, called Bobby. And Theodore, I would like you to help move Bobby into position. But, said Theodore, what are we looking for? I think there might be an old shipwreck down there, explained Rebecca. I'm hoping to find it and learn more about the old days here in the big harbor. A shipwreck, said Theodore. Now that really did sound like an adventure. Suddenly, Rebecca's radio crackled again. Northumberland must have spotted something. Well, what is it? Asked Theodore. Can you tell us what it looks like, Northumberland? Radioed Rebecca. It looks like old pieces of wood, Northumberland called back. Do you think that's important? Asked Theodore. Oh, it might be very important, answered Rebecca. Today, big ships are made of metal. But long ago, big ships used to be made of wood. Then the wooden pieces might be from the old shipwreck, said Theodore. Oh, this was really getting exciting. What do you see now, Northumberland? Rebecca called on her radio. I see something all rusty and covered in barnacles, answered the sub from the murky depths. Theodore moved closer to Rebecca so he could listen to every word. It must be just what we're looking for, said Rebecca. Bobby, lower your hook. Get ready to move Bobby, Theodore, called Rebecca. Ready, answered Theodore. A little more towards the shore, called Northumberland. Theodore carefully pushed Bobby towards the shore. "Stop!" radioed Northumberland. "Lower away! Now!" "Lower away!" ordered Rebecca. Bobby lowered his hook, while Theodore helped keep him floating nice and steady. Now there was a deep thunk on the end of his line. "I feel something!" shouted Bobby. "Something big!" "You've got it!" called Northumberland. "Hoist away!" "Hoisting!" called Bobby. Rebecca couldn't wait to see what would come up on the end of Bobby's line. And neither could Theodore. The water began to bubble again, and then Bobby's hook broke through the surface. He moved it over to his deck. "It looks like an anchor," said Theodore. Sure enough, there on Bobby's deck was a giant anchor, all rusty and covered in barnacles, just like Northumberland had said. "Oh," gasped Bobby. It's beautiful." "I think it's very old," said Rebecca. "Maybe it came from a pirate ship," suggested Theodore. "You know, Theodore," said Rebecca, "it just may have." "Oh, this is the best thing I've ever found," said Theodore. "Theodore, would you like to come back with me to the Oceanic Institute and study it?" asked Rebecca. Well, Theodore smiled from bumper to bumper. "Would I ever?" he shouted. "Me too," called Northumberland. I can't wait." And with that, Northumberland fell fast asleep. Everyone had a very good laugh about that. "You know," said Rebecca, as they sat up together, "the dispatcher was right after all." "Right about what?" asked Theodore. "He said you were a very cheerful tugboat." "Ha, I guess I am," grinned Theodore. Soon, off in the distance, Theodore could see the other tugs leaving the big container ship's dock. And that made him quiet again. "I hope you don't mind not bringing that big ship in today," said Rebecca gently. Theodore didn't answer Rebecca for a moment. "It's not that," he said at last. "I want to do more things with you, Rebecca. You make everything seem like finding treasure." "Oh," said Rebecca, "the big harbor is full of treasures." "It is?" said Theodore. "Sure it is," replied Rebecca with a big smile on her voice. "You never know what you might find." "Just around the next bend," smiled Theodore. Well, I can't put it off any longer. The time has come to clean up my messy desk. Oh, well. Thanks for visiting us here in the Big Harbor. We'll see you all again next time. It's just where to start with all of this. Oh, this is messier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, that's where that banana went. Oh, look! My rubber ducky, just as good as ever. Oh, this is gonna be fun. What else is in here?